Morning, everybody. This is Barb from Barb's Ink Pad, and yeah, I'm here on another Friday. It's 10 a.m. on a let me look out here. It's still gloomy, and it may still be raining or sleeting or doing some kind of ice thing. Whatever. Welcome to the land of every 5 minutes the weather will change. On Wednesday, the weather was close to 70 degrees. Yesterday, it was close to 30 degrees. So today, who knows? It started off cold. Let me see what temperature now is. Probably about 30 degrees, 30 something, maybe 40 some degrees, and later on it's supposed to be around 50, I think. I don't know. Crazy weather. Yeah, it's 41 degrees. So, no, we're at 36 degrees right now. And then it's supposed to be high of today of 54. So, we shall see. Hey, good morning, Susan. How you doing? Florida, North Carolina, Maryland. Oh, we're going to have fun today. I just want to show off. I was looking again for some kind of fancy folds. Now, this may seem a little complicated once I get into it, but it's really not. But I wanted to highlight the video that I saw it on. It was on a YouTube by Stamp It Up with, let me make sure I get it up. Stamp It Up with Jamie. And she was really good. And she used, a lot of them were using the hand pen set. You know, a couple of people that I saw were using the hand pen set. But I decided to use this Friendly Hello because this is the last weekend. Monday is the last day. You can get this free with a $100 purchase. So you've got the Friendly Hello stamp set and the paper. I really kind of put it off because I saw a few things in the very beginning, and I like the paper, I like the stamp set, but I just couldn't get it to work for me. But this one actually worked. And these are all the papers that come free with it. Who doesn't love free stuff? But anyway, so this is what we're going to do today. It's a little bit, I'm going to pull this off. You can use this as a little belly band or just some ribbon. But we're going to do this. I'm going to do it the way that she showed you, and I'm going to explain why I kept it that way and why I did it that way instead of doing all these measurements out in the very beginning. I'll put that on later. Sometimes if you tie it a little bit too tight, it doesn't kind of go. But this, it's really kind of fun, and it's really kind of easy. So, let's see. Before I do that, let me just show you something really quick. I ended up getting that kit that was the magnetic board. Is this not cute? It turned out you've got four different papers there. You can make everything all your own. And if you haven't gotten a chance to look at it, check it out because it really is cute. I'm not a whole lot for kits. I don't really do it. If anybody wants a kit, I'll make you up a kit. I'll do something. But with this, it's just too cute. You know, it's like you've got this. It's got these cute little pockets on here and the clips. And the pockets are super easy to make on here. It's just too cute. But I had to show you that. And this is probably going to really sell out. So, let's see what we got here. Now, on this card, I'm going to say, this card, I used the color with this was, I don't know if this light is funky. This color, the colors in here are like the pale papaya, the fresh freesia, granny apple green. I think we got, oh gosh, I don't even have the other paper here. But anyway, it's a bunch of, it's a lot of different colors because like on the one sheet kind of gives you everything. Let me see, it's a stripe one. Where's that stripe one? Here it is. Kind of gives you everything. So you got this. I'm not sure if that's, I don't think that's the dark green. I think that might be the spruce. And you've got Pool Party and Highland Heather and Granny Apple Green and the pale papaya. So, on here, though, I picked up the Highland Heather. I just did something a little bit darker. But when I show off today, what I'm going to use is I'm actually going to use the Fresh Freesia. And you tell me which one you like better, which one you think it does better. So I have a piece of Fresh Freesia. And this doesn't open. It's just a backing that the rest of the card is on. And this is 5.5 by 3 3/4. So it's a little bit narrower than some of the other things. And I went with that. I kept it with that because figures are not in my head to try to figure out if I made it 5.5 by 4 1/4. How big do I want the other thing? My mind doesn't work that way. It's crazy, but my mind doesn't work that way. I like to watch other people's measurements. Do you cut your 12 by 12 paper into 4 by 6? Yes. This one I actually did do it 4 by 6, and I'll tell you the reason that I did this, just to do it up, and it made it easier to do this card that I did. But sometimes what I do is I do 6 by 6. It just depends. To be perfectly honest, if I've got a whole load of it from old retired papers that I've just cut up into 6 by 6 pieces. And if anybody wants to buy some old papers, I've got tons of them in baggies, and you're welcome to have them. But yeah, this one I did, and I'm kind of actually liking the 4 by 6 kind of a thing rather than so we'll see how that goes. Nice question. I like that. But normally I would do it 6 by 6. Okay. So then I have a piece of white. Let me get my little cheat sheet out here. And the white is actually cut 5 1/4 by 10 1/2. So it's 10 1/2 long and 5 1/4 like this. And now, along the 10 1/2 inch side, I'm going to score it at 3 1/2 and 7. Now, okay, this was where the 3 1/2 was. That was where the 7. I'm not sure if those are even. I think they are even. They're like 3 and, let me see. This is where you might find that I'm going to get a little bit confusing, but it won't be. But I just want to make sure that these are all the same. They should all be the same width when that's done that way, which should be like 3 and 3 1/2. Yep, 3 1/2. This is 3 1/2. And then this is, it's a little less than 3 1/2. Okay, so we got 3 1/2, then 3 1/2, and then 3 1/2. Now, this is what you're going to do to get that. And this is no measurements involved yet. So to get this way, now this bigger part is going to be here. You can just wing it. You can just put, I'm going to put this down here in the, let me see. There goes that. Dang. I'm going to put this down here in the groove. And you can make this as much cut off as you want, or if you want it cut off less. I did it about here. And then this is, let me see. I did it about here. And where I did mine on this one, it comes to kind of about the 2 1/2 up in here. Or you could do it at 3. You can do it wherever you want. You're gonna take care of measuring, and then you're just gonna cut that off. Wee-hee. Now then it's gonna come the fun part. Let me see. Now it's like, okay, let me see if I remember how I'm going to, okay, yeah, that's how that's going to go. Just like that. That's not quite over there much, but okay. Now comes the fun part for the, now you've got that, easy peasy. Now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Now, the papers that I have, I used this for the front, only because I liked the bird, and then I ended up cutting off the bird, you know, covering him up. And I did this on the inside and on the other side. It just kind of makes it a little bit more pleasing when you open it up. And then this one on the inside. So, let's start with the outside square. Now, I've got these. I'm going to be cutting it again here in a minute, and I'll show you how I did this. So, the width is the same because I cut all... No, that's the wrong one. I cut all of these. Since this is 3.5, I cut these at 3 3/8 to give it like 1/8 of an inch. But looks like this one is going to fit right in there. So I'm going to cut it off because it looked like that one. I just want to make sure where this one was. This one is a little bit, this one is a little bit less than 3.5. This is a little bit less than 3.5. It's like 3 3/8. So I'm going to cut this off at 3 2/8, which is like 1/4. See, sometimes just kind of go back because everything might not be, and you might have to like scrunch it off. So then this one will go just like that. Now you want to go, so you know that this top part here, it's, let's see, how tall is, this is, I don't want to seem too confusing. The biggest part of this is like, let me see, is like on here is like 4 4.25. That's 4 1/4 is 1 2/8 is 4 3/8. So I want to make this 4 3/8. So make this 4 1/8. And I'm going to cut that off. Then you're going to come down here. It will all make sense. Trust me. You're going to come down here, and this is 4. So what I'm going to do over here is I am going to take, and I am going to mark this. I should have my pencil. Here's my pencil. I'm going to mark this at 4. So now you want your thing. Okay. Hopefully this is going to work out okay. Put your 4, put your, let me see here. That's that. Watch me get confused now. Let me see how I did this. I'm feeling really confused. Sorry about that. All right. That's going to be... I probably did something wrong. So how... Okay. See, this is everything you shouldn't do. 3.5. This is everything that you shouldn't do. 3.25. This is everything you shouldn't do when you've got that. Okie doke. So this is going to be 4. That's okay. All right. All of a sudden, I am feeling really, really crazy because I knew I did this right yesterday, and it's like, okay, I had it, damn it, okay. So this is everything, you know, like what I was doing something the other day, and my husband, I said, yeah, I'd like to measure it. So this is like 4 and, let me see, 4 and 4 and 3/8. So I want it 4 and 1/8. And then down here, because you want your piece to be tall enough for this. So if I cut it off across there, then I'm going to want it to come down there. Okay, I'm just trying to get this to work out. So I want this to be 4 and 1/8. Let's hope that I cut this right. Okie doke. Because I want to give it that thing. Okie doke. So now, then I wanted to cut this at, like I said, this is, I think this is geometry 4. So I want this to be 3 7/8. And let's see if I can work this out right. Let me see if I get 3 7/8 is right there. So I'm going to put this solid part there and put this here. That's the high part. And then cut off that part. And let's see if this works. And let's see if I finally got that right. I had to try and figure it out in my head. Always work it out the other way. There we go. It's got a little bit more room than I had originally envisioned, but there you go. So you've got that in there. So let me see. Woo! I'm going to put each piece on separately, and I thought this was going to be a little bit, you know, have a little bit more, but let's just see how this goes and learn from me everything you don't want to do. So let's see. This really didn't have all that much space, so there's more outline to it than I would have liked, but that's okay. We'll work it out. Now this is for the inside. Now you're going to have one that's going to go one way and one that's going to be slanted the other way. So now you know that this one was 4 and 1/8. Let's just double check. So this end is going to be, no, this end is 4 and 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's why I did that, because I gave, instead of going into 16ths, I did it by 8ths. So here is 4, that's 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 3/8. So I want to cut this, that's 4 and 3/8, and this one, this end is 2, 4, 6, 4 3/4. So let me see. No, that's going to be too much. So if I could do 16ths, but let me make that. Let me see. Okie doke. Let me move. Let me see if I get this right. I am not a, okay, yeah, okay, so this is 8/16, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 4 and 11/8/16. So this is fun. 4 and 11/16. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11. And let's see if this is going to work out just fine in there. That's gonna work out pretty good. Okay, that'll work out pretty good. So now we want this one to go this way. So the lowest part here turned out to be 4 2/8, 4 3/8. So I want to do this at 4 1/8. And let's hope this one works out well. 4 1/8. Measure twice, cut once. Now see, that looks like 4 1/2. See, a lot of it depends on how you've got it kind of folded and what you're doing with it here. So I've got this. Yeah, that comes out to tell me never again to do this. Okay. 1, 2, 4 3/8. So I want it 4 3/8. 1, 2, 3. So I want that for 4 1/4. 4 1/4. So I'm going to do this 4 1/4 down here, and we're going to put that there. This here. Have I confused everybody yet? Hey, Pam. And then you're going to want this to go the other way, because you're going to want this not to be slanted this way. So you're going to want to put it this way. So you're going to want to put that there. And so we're going to do 4 1/4 on this end. Hopefully I will work this out. I didn't cut this paper. How much was I supposed to cut this? God give me strength. Please, please, please. So I wanted to cut this 4 3/4. And sometimes if you need to just kind of do this a little bit, I want it going this way. Okie doke. So I want that there. So I want the 4 1/4. To be perfectly honest, once you kind of get everything kind of all worked out, it really does work out well. Once you get into this, once you get into the rhythm of things, and let me hope I cut this the right way. If not, why am I feeling like, nope, I did it the wrong way. So let's get another piece of paper over here. God give me strength. So I wanted this 3 1/2. Three and 3/8. Oh, please, 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 please. Okay. And then I wanted it. Oh my, is this not fun? We're in 5, 6, 7. because you want to do it about 1/8 of an inch. So I'm here 4.5. 1. Let me see. See, it's like I'm telling you, for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 4 and 11/16. 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh God, please help me. So now I wanted this part to be so that over on this end I'm getting 4 and 1/4. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 and 1/4 is 4/16, and 5, 6, 5. 4 and 5/16. So I am like really confused. Let's see. Let's see how many pieces of paper I can go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if this is going to be exactly where I want it. No. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to do this at 4 1/4. And we're going to see how this works out. This is all trial and error. Good morning, good morning. So here we're going to put this there, and then this here. So then this way it's going to come the opposite way. And let's pray that this one works out okay. Yay! There we go. So now we're going to put those together. Like I said, I tend to get turned around. This is probably why, number one, I'm not very good when it comes to directions. I can get turned around really easy. Thank goodness for GPSs, because it will actually tell me the right way to turn. And so we're going to put this on the inside. And this one will go this way. And yes, I got that right. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think that's what gets me turned around, is because, you know, like, it's okay. The rest of the card is really, really easy. It's just these. And like I said, I am sure you can probably find some good videos that'll give you the measurements right offhand. But I think a lot of times when I cut or when I score, it might not be exactly right. So you just kind of got to kind of do that. Okay. Now this is the back one, and this one should be 5 1/4 inch. So we're going to do this 5 1/4. So we're going to do this 5 1/8. This one is pretty easy. That one's 5 1/8, like that. Is that not pretty, the fresh freesia? And then we're going to take and we're going to measure the smallest one, which is a little bit bigger than that other side. So you're going to think, well, just measure off the other one. So this comes out to be 4 8/16, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this will be 4, and I always will sit there and write it down. 4 11/16 is where I want to measure this out at. See how much easier this one was? 4 8, 9, 9, 10, 11. I mean, 8, 16, 9, 10, 11. 11/16. And let me see if that's going to be all right, just to put it up here. And that should work out just perfect. So again, you're going to have that there. Let me see. And you're going to have the curve going this way. Just kind of look and see how your curve is going, and you'll realize that. And I got that one easy. So that's that, and we will go this way and this way, and woohoo! Like I said, when I have like smaller little margins around here, I like to use my white glue. It just gives you a little bit of wiggle room there to kind of do. Now, that was the hard part. Whew! What fun, what fun, what fun. See, now this will go just right on here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that right on there now. See, let's see how quickly the rest of this will go. The sun is shining here. Is it pretty there? No, it's ugly. It's, I don't know if it's still raining or sleeting or doing whatever it's doing out there, but nah, it's not pretty here. I think later on today the sun might try to sneak out, but that's Maryland for you. Because actually, well, I don't have kids in school now. They're all grown up, and then so I'm going to take, and I am just going to put this on here. And there we go. Put that on there. That's that part. Whew! That one was tough. That was tough. But like I said, the worst part is just sitting there and just kind of trying to figure out how big you want that. You can see my measurements were probably a little off. Yesterday, I know I kind of struggled because I think it was just the way that I cut it down, and you got into 1/16, and it just makes my mind go crazy. So now I am going to take, now for the inside of the card here, I have a piece, and it's like a 3x3. I think I did that 3x3. I tried to do it a little bit, but I wanted the 3x3 seemed to work best. You could probably do it a little bit higher if you want, but it worked out just perfect for this card. And again, I'm going to use the Highland Heather. No, I'm not going to use that. I did bring over, I know I brought it over. Oh, there it is. Fresh Freesia. Huh. Boggles the mind. And I love, this little bird is just so cute. You could take and you could stamp it in the tuxedo, the black. And now this is a little paler than my other one. And then this here I'm going to use is Hope You Have the Best Birthday. Just made, with all the color going on there, I just left everything the more monochromatic. That's my thing anyway. And now like on here, I took and kind of embossed it with the Tasteful Textiles. But I sat there and I thought, I don't really need to do that. I can just put that on here. I just wanted to give it a little bit of something, but then I decided I didn't really need to do that. And just put this on the inside here. You can put it kind of anywhere you want. You just want to make sure that it's going to be covered up by that when it goes. And then on the front here, I really debated a lot what to put on there, which, and I'll show you, which die cut I wanted to use. Here's the tag, and I wanted to use the Hello Friend, but I felt like, you know, like you could use that. You don't really have to put ribbon around it. You could just leave it like this and then just make sure it's pretty well burnished when you do this, and that would keep it down. But I think it would be nice when you first sent something to somebody that it was like that. So I couldn't get the ribbon around there to do it right. So I said, no, not that. And then this one just felt like it was cut off. This is from the Layering Dioramas. It just felt like it was cut off just to be on the front there. So I said, no. But you know what? I'll save these. I might need them for something else. So, but this is from the rectangles, the stitched rectangles. And this worked out just perfect because it was exactly beautiful in 73. Oh, I'm jealous. That's what I keep telling my husband. I said I would really like to live somewhere where I can, you know, there's palm trees and I can get around in a golf cart. And so this is one of the smaller ones, and it fits right in there. It's a little crooked, but you know what? Nobody's going to care. They're going to look at it. And then what I did is I just went around it so it wasn't so stark. I just got the little blender brush and just kind of went around it. Used to be a lot. You could use a all of a sudden I can't think of the name of it. You know, the little thing you can put on your finger. I knew I had one out here, but that's okay. So I just wanted to do that and put this on here. And I really like these, so I'm gonna kind of miss these. I'm gonna be interested in what they come out with. They don't have my scissors here. These little jewels, the in color jewels, they're really kind of pretty. And, you know, like, I really love, like, the kind of faceted kind of rhinestones with that. And then I just pop this up. Got a variety of tools here, not the ones I could be using. Ta-da-da-da. Pop this up with a little bit of dimensionals. And has everybody seen what the next month, March, is going to offer? The mini cut, stamping, cut, and emboss. And I'm going to put that up there so that when I wrap this ribbon around, it has a little bit of room, but it just gives some, you know, so it's, you know, you can put this wherever. And this here, and that. I am not the best bow cutter. And then you can just kind of snip these off. And of course, are my scissors over here? No, but that's okay. I can live with that. But you have that. So these were my two things that I did. You know, it's like, do you like it with the Highland Heather or with the Fresh Freesia? The Fresh Freesia just kind of makes it a little bit more muted, a little bit softer. This makes it stand out a little bit more. I don't know, I'm a little bit, you know, like I'm trying to think of which way I would go with that. Of course, then in here you've got so many color options to choose from. So that's that. And I'm sorry for all the confusion, but I think you can get it. You know, if you understand, you know, like if you see which way does this curve, which way does this go, how is that going to go? But it's really not as complicated as it seemed at first. It was just trying to get my bearing straight. And like I said, I'm not that great at direction-wise. But once you kind of get into it, it makes it a little bit easier. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope everybody has a good weekend. I'm not quite sure exactly how the weather's going to be this weekend. Around here, it can change in a moment's notice anyway. So everybody have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.